What's going on, guys? Bob Roche from RocheTechnology.com here with my first What's on my iPad video. Ever since I got my iPad back in March, I've been loving every minute of it. However, I haven't really done too many videos on it. I've done a couple case reviews, but I've never really done anything like this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to show you guys what I have on my iPad, what I use on a day-to-day basis, and things like that. So before I get started, I want to say that I do have the Wi-Fi only 32GB, obviously white model. So I know I was going to get a ton of people asking that in the comments, so there you go. So starting up here, and by the way, I do only have one page of apps. I just sort of think of this like a computer more than a phone. On my phone, I have many more apps, but on here, I really only have apps and games and things that I use on about a weekly basis, like at least once a week. So that's everything on here. So I mean, obviously besides like the YouTube app, I hate the YouTube app, but you can't delete it. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. First up, I have my messages, obviously. Every iPad has that, every iOS device nowadays has that. Very nice messaging app. I hope they fix it on the Mac to the point where, I mean, it's not buggy like it is right now. Hopefully with Mountain Lion they release like, you know, the final version. It is better on the developer's preview, but anyway, getting back to iOS, messages is very nice on iOS devices. Calendar, I mean, obviously a calendar. I use this more on my iPhone than on my iPad simply because of Siri. I can just say, Siri, remind me this on this day, and then next thing I know, within a couple seconds, it's all synced up on here, ready to go, giving me reminders, things like that. So I definitely use that much more now that I have a smartphone. Back before I had the iPhone, like about a year ago before I got my iPhone, I never used the calendar. I was very disorganized, but now I'm trying to use calendar much more, and I've obviously gotten, you know, better organized because of it. Next up is my photos. I haven't launched like these first three apps because, you know, they're sort of like personal things I don't want the internet to see. But not that I have any like horrible pictures or anything. But yeah, there you go. Pictures. Everybody has tons of pictures. Next folder I have, you probably see, it's called Apple. This is like Apple apps that I like. You know, they're Apple apps. So, you know, things like iPhoto, GarageBand, iMovie, Find My Friends, videos. Videos can't delete, but I decided to just throw it in here. Same with Game Center. Honestly, I never really use Game Center. I'm just not really like a gaming kind of a person. This is more of a productivity device rather than a gaming device. But who knows, maybe, you know, some good games come out that utilize it, then, you know, sure, I'll hop on there. Notes, reminders, FaceTime, you know, very Apple apps. Find the iPhone, or in this case, find my iPad. That'll definitely come in handy, I'm sure. Apps like GarageBand and iMovie, I mean, I don't really use them for serious use. Even like iPhoto. iPhoto is more than these guys, but like GarageBand and iMovie, really I just use them sort of to just mess around. Like, I like recording just some playing around in loops and just seeing how they sound. Or just in iMovie, I like to just see how, you know, like touch experiences. I got both those for free, by the way, from Free My Apps. Thank you to Chris Perillo for shouting that out a couple months ago, but got those all for free. I did pay for iPhoto the first day I got my iPad. I just had to have it after the keynote. So I bought that, and that, like I said, I use a little bit more seriously. I actually fix pictures with that. It's very easy. It's very nice to use, especially, you know, with the nice simple touch interface. I absolutely love it. And moving down here to Photo Booth, sure, we'll launch it, get some, you know, wacky pictures of barely the camera. There we go. Even though I'm hitting the volume button on the desk. But, you know, there we go. There's iPhoto. Awesome CPU power on a tablet right there, processing all those live images and filters and things. So that's very cool. Alright, so, you know, there's my Apple folder. Then camera, you know, does what you think it does. Takes some pictures, takes some videos. Does a pretty good job, honestly. I don't use any third-party camera app. I do think the camera app there does do a pretty good job. I mean, others, they probably do a little bit better things, like, you know, maybe filters or, you know, just etc. fill in the blank there. But to me, they're just not really worth the money. I mean, that does a good enough job, so there we go. YouTube app, once again, I absolutely hate this YouTube app. It does nothing. Yeah, you can watch videos, but, you know, me being, you know, an avid YouTuber, I guess you could say, and always wanting to reply to comments and things, you can't even reply to comments on your own videos, or even, like, make comments, I don't think, within this app, which to me, it just makes YouTube pointless. So that's stupid. I really hope Apple updates that soon. I don't think we're going to see anything in iOS 6. I mean, I have the developer's preview on my iPhone 4S. I have had it on here, but all of a sudden my Wi-Fi just didn't like it. So I am running iOS 5.1.1, I believe. Whatever the latest one is, I believe it's 5.1.1. But hopefully, like in iOS 7, they get rid of this god-awful app because it's horrible. Moving on to Maps, this obviously won't be here very long. Once I update to iOS 6, this will have the all-new Apple Maps, so Google Maps will no longer be present. However, I don't really use Maps on an iOS device very much. Maybe if I had like a 3G version, I would sort of like rig something up in the car or have some sort of a stand for this and have like, I know, a big 9.7-inch screen for Maps. That would be great. However, I mean, I might use this very lightly if I'm just really trying to find something that I'm like, I have an idea of where this is already, but I just want to finalize it. That's when I'll use, like, the big screen for maps. Then jumping over to here, contacts. Obviously I'm not going to launch it, don't want to give out any information or anything, but keep all my contacts there. Stays in sync through iCloud and everything, so that works very well. Newsstand, I honestly don't really use it at all. I have nothing in there, probably never will. Now moving over here, this is my shopping folder. This is where I have, shopping things like the App Store, iTunes Store, Amazon, Newegg, eBay, my Bank of America, and my PNC, where I can, check my accounts and stuff, see how much green I got. But yeah, usually when I buy something, it's on this device. I really don't buy too many things on my desktop anymore. This, especially with apps, this, I guess, user experience is just much simpler. I mean, all my credit card and whatever information is already like on eBay or PayPal or Amazon. It's pretty much already all there. So I just use these and it's very easy. But I gotta say, apps like eBay have a great user interface with the update. I just absolutely love it. Even just browsing for things. Pulling out this little green tab over here. See, it sort of like pixelates in real time. I just find that to be totally awesome. Going through things, everything just looks really, really nice. So even just the window shopping experience on these apps is much nicer than on a desktop. So that's my shopping folder. Moving on to my school folder, which I honestly don't even want to look at right now because I only have about like a month and a half or so or ish of summer left, and I really want to enjoy it. I hate opening up this folder, but nonetheless, I do have a calculator app. Very simple calculator. Just adding some random numbers, just testing it out. Honestly, I haven't used it much yet, but come school, I'm sure I'll use it all the time. This is much easier than using a tiny little calculator like on my iPhone and having to hit the buttons like this. This is a very nice app with big old buttons that works very well. Very simple. You have different functions over here. Very nice for college. So, nice little calculator app. Moving over here to Notability. I've actually already done a video on this. Go ahead and check back on my channel if you're interested. But this is an absolutely amazing app for school. This is going to replace all my notebooks this semester. even if my teachers are like, yeah, we don't like technology, like, I don't care. I'm using this. This app just makes my life so much easier. So I'll go ahead and I'll just, say for example I have a math category here. Go ahead and we'll just add that's add a subject. I want to add a note. So we'll tap there, create a new note, and here we go. So I guess first thing I'll do real quick, I'll just show you guys the pen tool. Could be more simple. Very fluid app. It's not like these laggy apps that, this actually is very responsive. And just for school, I'm not a fan of a stylus at all, but for school, it just makes things easier. Like if I have to draw like a little freehand graph, using your finger really isn't that great. For some things it is, some things it isn't, but for the things that your finger just isn't good at, I did buy, a little stylus, like a little $10 stylus that works very well on the iPad just for taking notes. So I have that. Also, you can scroll down 2 fingers, give your paper some lines like that. You can even make them wider spaced if you'd like, but I always go with like the college ruled, I guess. Now in my class I actually bring my Bluetooth keyboard, and so I pair it up with this so I don't have to use the virtual keyboard, but you can actually type notes. Come up here, you can break out your highlighter. So, this is just a very cool application. You can even like take screenshots. Like my professors give PowerPoints and Word documents. If they have a picture in that I want to use in my notes, I can just take a screenshot of it while it's pulled up on here, and I can crop the graph or whatever out of that screenshot, and I can actually put it on here. So I'll have a nice little graph right here. And it's very cool basically. I'm kind of butchering it, but hopefully you guys get the idea. This is an absolutely great application for school. Can't recommend it enough. So, school off. I'm done. No more school for like a month and a half. iBooks, iTunes U, and OnLive Desktop. This is just, this I'd never really use. It's just sort of a cool app that I wanted to get before I was sure that Microsoft was going to pull it from the store. So it was a free app. It's an easy way to sort of run Windows on your iPad. If you want to run the things like Microsoft Word, although I believe they are making full like Word and PowerPoint versions for the iPad. I'm pretty sure that those are in the works, but for now, that's actually a pretty decent solution. So now coming to my utilities folder, go ahead and open that bad boy up. First up, I have a Squarespace. That's how I can check how my website's doing. I can post new blog posts from here. I can check my stats like views and things like that. So that's very cool. 3030, this is an app I got from iPad today. I was watching it and I saw this and it looked pretty cool. 3030 basically it's like a scheduler. So as you can see, 20 minutes reply to email. I'll hit that and it'll start counting down. If I want to add something else, like say maybe a break, just type break, set it for 10 minutes, and then you're done. So then once I hit this, it'll reply to email. As you can see, I have 20 minutes for that. and then break for 10 minutes, and then you can have something else and something else. So even if you just want to have like, one thing, just like reply to email, then this is a nice, very simple, very elegant looking timer for you. So maybe this functionality will decrease once Siri comes out. You can just set timers with your voice. But for now, this app definitely has a pretty nice user interface, and it was free, so can't really complain. Next up is Flickster. I go to see movies pretty frequently, so this is just an easy way for me to see what's playing. Pandora, I use this at work constantly. Barely uses any battery power on this iPad since the screen's off. That's the big iPad battery killer, is the screen. So turn your screen off and just kick back on Pandora. You'll have, probably over 24 hours of playback. No sweat. But Pandora saves my life at work. I just plug this into the little radio that's there, and I have Pandora the whole shift. It's pretty sweet. Netflix, I don't really use too much on this, but it is there just in case. Photoshop, I never really use, but once again, if I want to just mess around with it, like since I got iPhoto, I've never used Photoshop Express, but just in case I want to try something different or I'm bored one day, and something fun to do. Colloquy, this is for when I did my live Hackintosh build. I had this up in the chat for my chat room, so I could easily reply to people from the desk. But I do use this sometimes, like if I'm watching, David DeFranco or Soldier Knows Best, like live, I'll just use this IRC instead of the one that's there, and this way I can just have this propped up on my desk somewhere. So then Flipboard, everyone knows what Flipboard is. Very, very nice user interface. It's just a fun way, I guess, to view all your stuff. As you can see, I did restore it. I haven't really used it since, but once you sign in, it's just like that. It's like very nice user interface. So there you go. There's Flipboard. Moving to Dropbox. I really don't use Dropbox too much, but I do have a couple files on there that, Word documents that I use for school and things, just in case, there's sort of like a plan B. If I put a file on the school computer and it wasn't there anymore, it's not like a heart attack moment, I put it on here too, so if worst comes to worst, I can view it on here. Paper, very interesting application, sort of just like a freehand sort of an app. Go ahead and see if I can pull this up here. So, we'll give something like this. So we can slide up more tools here. Very nice app. One thing I don't like about this app is that you actually have to pay for each one of these individual brushes. As you can see, that one is like $2. So this is a free app, but it can very, very quickly cost you a decent amount of cash. So it is a nice app. Once again, this isn't an app I use like every day, but just a couple times here and there if I'm bored, I'll just try to draw something. Can't really go wrong. Once again, a free app. Next here is Skype. I don't use Skype very much at all, but this is just sort of, and you should just have Skype. Maybe, for example, someone really wants to talk to you about something. Skype is a nice free way to do it. Also, Google Drive. I don't really use Google Drive yet. I plan to because it is pretty nice. I might upgrade to like one of the paid plans just because it's pretty affordable, but I don't really have a use for it right now. Maybe I will in the future, but just for now I haven't. So that's it for my utilities folder. Moving up is this weather application. Honestly, off the top of my head, I'm really not quite sure what it's called, but just look for the icon in the App Store and I'm sure it'll be there. So I don't want to upgrade to the full version, thank you. This is by the free version, but as you can see, it's a very nice looking app. It's very clean, tells you things like humidity, precipitation, pressure, things like that. Next couple of days up here. Very nice, just background and pictures up here. Looks very nice even on the Retina display. I believe this is a Retina enabled application, so it just looks very nice. It's pleasing to the eye, and I know what I need to know. So there you go, there's a nice weather app for the iPad. Moving on to podcasts, this is one of Apple's newer apps that just came out. As you can see, I have both audio and video of MacBreak Weekly, iPad Today video version, and the audio version of Twit. Before I had the iPad, I only downloaded the audio simply because I just had my iPhone. But now that I have my iPad, I can just prop it on my desk and start playing a podcast. I just love it. So this is a pretty nice app. Go to iPad Today, shows you the ones you got. So it just works very nice. And here, I'll actually go ahead and I'll play something. Actually, never mind. That's a video. I lied. I'll play like an audio, like Twit.
Preventing people from buying, and I'll tell you right now, it's not because Apple.
So there you go. I'll go ahead and pause that. As you can see, the user interface is just great. Nice little recorder there. So like, for example, watch like right here. If you can see that when I pause it or play it, it like moves. You pause it, it moves again. So just very little subtle things like that. You have your turtle and your rabbit for if you want to listen to the podcast faster and slower. So for a free podcast app, and that's from Apple, I do think that this is a very nice app. I use it all the time. So there we go. There's your podcast settings. I'm not going to go into it, but pretty obviously settings. Down here, these are like my dock apps. Safari, pretty self-explanatory. my favorite web browser. I did download Chrome on here a couple days ago, but I didn't really use it much, just because that on the iPad you can't set other browsers as the default. Maybe that's coming in the future, but regardless, Safari yields the full iOS experience with syncing and things like that. So I just like using Safari, so I don't have Chrome anymore. But overall, my favorite browser on both the Mac and the iPad. Moving on to mail, I'm not going to open that just because I don't want to show my own personal emails and things. But there you go. Tweetbot, this is by far my favorite and probably, in my opinion, the best Twitter app on the store for iOS. Just works very nice. It has a very cool user interface. If I want to see like replies to something, if I can do this right. There we go, just slide that way. And any replies would be up here. Get more information about the poster, things like that. Just has a very nice user interface about it. It's very nice and fast and responsive. So overall, great Twitter app. I believe it was like $2 or $3, but definitely worth it if you're an avid Twitter person like I am. So there you go. If you're not that much into Twitter, really there's no reason to spend $3 on it. But personally, I just love Twitter. I use it every single day. So that's a great app. Definitely worth the $3 that it cost me. Moving on to my last folder is games. So my first game that I've been playing tons lately is Plague Inc. Once again, I saw this on iPad today and I thought the game was just great. Basically, you have to create a plague to kill the entire world. I mean, your goal here is to wipe out humanity, so it's pretty sweet. Start a new game, go to normal, and as you can see, I've unlocked up to Parasite. I'm not down here yet, but as you can see, Parasite, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So I'll let you guys go ahead and download that app. I think it's like $1, but I mean, I've already sunk hours into that game, and it's worth $1. I mean, it really is. Cut the Rope, as you can see by the little candy cane by Omnon there. It's a Christmas version. I haven't played it much. Bike Race, I've actually beat every single level on all 3 stars. Actually, I haven't. I beat like 95% of the game. For some reason, this game never flips right. But so we'll go ahead and we'll do this here. Go to single player. But thanks to my girlfriend, she just beasted out like these last couple levels. So as you can see, I have 24 out of 24 on every stage. It's a pretty hard game. Up here, it's really easy. Pretty easy. And then these last 2 are just way harder than these ones. So they always have level updates coming. So it's a pretty good game with some pretty good replay value. I wish they'd make like tricks, get you extra points or something. I don't know. I'm sure they could work something in there. But overall, a pretty good app, and I believe that one is free as well. However, if you want, you can like buy additional bikes and things, but those do cost you human cash. Moving up here to draw something, I honestly never play this. I don't think anybody does. It was sort of like the thing for a week or two, and then it just got really repetitive, so no one really plays it anymore. As you can see, Words HD, free, sort of the same thing. That's why I never got the full version. But no one really plays this anymore, but I just have it there just in case. I mean, I don't mind playing it, but it's just that no one plays it anymore. GTA 3, I never really got too much into it. I'm probably like 10 levels in, and I play it occasionally, but I just wanted to have it because I love GTA, I love Rockstar, wanted to support them, so I spent, I think, like $5 on this. It was on sale or something, so there we go, there's GTA. Bloons Tower Defense, this is the light version. I do have the full version, but of not a 4, I believe I have the full version of 3, but that's a very fun game as well, Bloons Tower Defense. Temple Run, everybody knows what Temple Run is. I don't play it too much, but everybody knows what it is. Angry Birds, I have the free version of the original, and I also have Space. Once again, I got that free from Free My Apps. Very cool game. I'm not sure if they have that anymore. They've really come down on their app selection, and they kind of just give Amazon gift cards now and iTunes gift cards, which isn't bad, but there you go. Angry Birds, just a must-have. Unblock Me, it's a pretty fun puzzle game. I think it's free, so go ahead and check that one out. Here's another Cut the Rope game. This, I think, is the official game. Or maybe this was a Cut the Rope like experiments or something. But there you go. Scribblenauts, pretty fun game actually. I did pay for this. This wasn't like a free my app sort of thing. But it is pretty fun, even though I'm like going to be 21 years old this year. It's still pretty fun. Fruit Ninja free. I never bought the full version. So I figured the free version just gives me the experience that I wanted. iMobsters, I had higher expectations. That game just isn't fun. I could probably just delete it and really not shed a tear, but whatever, I'll just keep it. I'm just kind of lazy today. Pool, that's a pretty fun game, pretty simple game. I play it occasionally. 12-3D Catch. This is from Twit. Actually, I think this was iPad Today as well. I get tons of great apps from iPad Today, so go ahead and check out that podcast if you haven't. Of course, it's with Leah Laporte and Sarah Lane. Great podcast. But anyway, 12-3D Catch. It's sort of like a 3D rendering sort of thing. You take a picture of something from different angles, and it basically just puts together a full 3D image of it. It's pretty cool. Stuff that was unthinkable a couple years ago, done very easily now on a mobile device. Bakery Story, I am very manly, that's why I have this. Bakery Story, honestly I haven't touched it in like a week, so everything is spoiled. But I play this game basically like with my girlfriend, just so we can like just try to compete with each other and have a better bakery. It's actually kind of fun, but it's a huge money grab. If you do get this game, just because you can, they try to get tons of money from you, so don't buy into it because it's not worth it. And then this last game, Zombie Swipeout, I haven't even played this yet, but I saw screenshots of TLD and at I Like Tech Terrell on Twitter, and they were going back and forth, so I figured I'd give it a whirl. But I got to downloading it, I just hadn't got to play it yet, so there we go. Kind of lazy there. I'll get to it eventually. And last but not least, the music app. Just have all my music up here. Pretty cool stuff. I love the user interface of the music app on the iPad. It works very well, it looks great, and just functions great as well. So there we go, that's pretty much every single app I have. Actually, that is every single app I have on my iPad. Once again, I don't have a second page of apps simply because I don't like to have apps on here that I don't use. I don't like to think of it as, a phone where I can just have apps on there that I don't use very often. I think of this more as a computer than like a smartphone, so I don't want to have tons of apps taking up my space that I don't use. So there you guys go. This video was very long, a lot longer than I originally anticipated it would be, but hopefully it gave you guys something to do for the past 20 minutes-ish. So thank you guys very much for watching. I'm at CPK on Twitter. Also be sure to check out RocheTechnology.com and at RocheTechnology on Twitter. I look forward to seeing what you guys post. Maybe you guys will post a tour of your iPad. I'll definitely watch it. And leave a comment down below. Please like this video. And before I ramble anymore, thank you guys for watching.